Let's talk about, we're in the audio subject again. We're talking about parametric filtration, digital signal processing. So in the old days, probably in the 80s, all of your audio was analog and they came out with equalizers. They had the dials on the front, sliders usually, right? 2 sliders per band. And the more bands you had, the cooler it looked, right? So you might have a 5-band equalizer, or you might have a 10-band. And you would also have a bypass, right? So you would have the ability to tune your music using your equalizer and then click one switch that would turn it all off, bypass it all. And so you could hear the original, and then you would be able to turn it back on and hear the change. So in the 90s, when everything started getting digitized, there was a lot of digital signal processing starting to take place. Equalization sort of took a back seat to parametric equalization in the professional gear, because it was still pretty expensive to have computer systems that were powerful enough to do digital signal processing. Then in the aughts, and it became more, in the teens, it became more accessible. So nowadays, there's digital signal processing in a lot of things. And parametric equalization, parametric filtration, is something that's becoming accessible and cheap. In fact, an ESP32 is powerful enough to do the bi-quad parametric filtration, and that's what I've done in this product. And also introducing firmwaredepot.com. I'm selling the firmware. I'm selling 3D printer models. I've got it all packaged together in a kit. There's no you're not buying anything physical from me. You're only buying digital products. For this 3Tooth product, for the price of $12.65 today, before inflation, you get, the instructions, you get 3D printer models, and you get the firmware. And the firmware is flashed directly from the website, just like, ESP Home. So you don't have to go figure out, what parts to buy to get this to work. You don't have to go into 3D modeling software and create your own case for it, right? You don't have to find all the libraries you need and get it to compile. You don't have to write any code. You don't have to figure out how to even build the code and flash the ESP32. That's the value proposition. Most of the things you're going to find probably are, you could write them for yourself. You could do, parametric filtration on an ESP32 for yourself, and you don't have to. Then you'd save the $12.65, and you'd be able to modify it. So the disadvantage to this sort of setup, I guess, would be you don't have the code, you can't tweak it, you can't make little changes to it to make it suit your needs. So if you're that person, then you don't want to download it from here. You could probably still purchase it just to figure out how to hook the DAC up. So let's look at this for a second here. We've got a little 3D printed case. We've got a DAC card, ESP32. So those are the parts, right, that we're going to, here in the parts list. Those are the 2 parts that we're going to buy separately. Right, and I've got links here to go buy them. In the overview here, it's going to describe, what this thing is, and I've nicknamed it 3Tooth because it's a Bluetooth receiver, right? That just basically, sends the audio out a DAC. It's it's a cheap DAC, but it sounds pretty good. It's not a bad DAC, but this gives you some digital signal processing. And the reason I've got the 3 in front of the tooth instead of Bluetooth, it's 3Tooth, is you've got, this one gives you 3 filters. You've got a low shelf filter, you've got a high shelf, and you've got a peaking, right? So the low shelf is going to start at a frequency in the bass range, and it's basically made to like probably boost your bass, and then, you know, tail out below 20 hertz. And so the Q is going to be the sort of the width or the slope, right, of the shelf. Well, the shelf is out here, but the Q is the slope of it, and then you've got a frequency to control where it is, right? So you can create a low shelf. You can do that same thing on the high side, right? You've got a Q that controls the slope, right? You can move the frequency around, so you might, you know, start boosting your treble at, I don't know, I like to start boosting it around 6,000 and let it go up to where it's completely boosted by the time it gets to 10K, and then it goes the rest of the way out flat. And then there's one more. There's a peaking filter. On this one, the Q lets you control how sharp it is. It controls the width of what it's changing. And of course you can slide it around your frequency. You can center it wherever you want. Now, you know, so far I've only talked about positive gains, but you can do a negative gain, right? It can be shaped like this, right? And your shelves can too, like your high shelf might go down and out. So that's why it's called 3Tooth. Let's look at the website a little bit here and see. It's like it's as if I've bought it, right? If I'm logged in and I've bought this product, so I have access to the build instructions, right? So this tells you how to wire it up. You also get access to artifacts. You can connect to it right here, and up here you would choose your, you know, your serial port, and from here you just burn it, right? You flash the firmware onto the ESP32. And then there's other types of artifacts, right? Here there's a download, so I'm going to just download this case bottom, and I think I've got Cura running over here, so I'm going to drag that in there. So now that you're ready to go with your 3D printer, you can let's see, we flip this over this way. There, so now it's ready to slice, and that's what the case, let me get a top view. How do you do that like this? Okay, so there's what your case sort of looks like in 3D view. So, you know, there's a lot of work went into creating this 3D model. I can show it to you in Onshape. Maybe, there it is. So this is the 3D model for this case. Let me just show you, let me twirl it around. So I'm turning the lid off. So I turn the lid off and twirl it around. You can see what all it's got, you know, what the complexities of it are. And then the lid on this thing is pretty cool too, right? So, you know, it's got this indentation here where so that your headphone jack can go way down in there and make a good connection. The holes are tapered, right? It's pretty nice. And then these blocks here are sort of the mechanism that hold the DAC in place. So, going to do a live hookup in this video. Okay, let's see, what's the setup here? Quickly, you got this old sweetheart of a computer. She's got a line input. And I've got the headphone out jack of 3Tooth coming out and going to the line input of that computer. And the USB cable is connected to the front of the computer, so we've got both. So that is a rock song playing on YouTube, Amazon Music. It's a connected Bluetooth from the phone to the 3Tooth. So yeah, the audio is coming out here, going down to the PC, and that's what we're hearing for background music here. And now I've got this on the mixer here in OBS. Now what we want to do is show the programmability of it. Oh, I can demo this right away. So here we go. Bring this up. So we've got the button interface, right? So I wasn't talking to you, Alexa. Just keep doing what you were doing.
Here's the Milk Song by Lanky Box.
No. Thank you. Now, left button will be volume down. And all I'm doing is touching the screw so that you can hear. Alright. So that changes, it disables and enables all the digital signal processing when touching no button. Alright, so it's working. But now what we want to do is get on the serial interface. And this is the first time I've done this on this PC, so it's a good candidate. I think that when I plugged in that USB device, it probably detected this device here in the device manager. It's calling it a CP2102 USB to UART bridge controller, and it doesn't work. COM port 1 probably would have been there before I ever plugged in, right? I hope this works. I searched up that number and a driver for the driver. I found, well, I haven't even clicked in it yet, so hopefully this is it. Drivers from Silicon Labs. A virtual COM port. Now that sounds right. Let's go to downloads. We've got a universal Windows driver with serial emulator. Yikes, sounds a little. Let's try this one. Came down in a zip. Extract it. I was hoping for an installation. Alright, let's try updating it from here. Browse for files. Where is this? This is in this PC downloads. Try that. Ooh. Okay. Oh wow. All right. So now, COM 3. Yeah. Okay. So what I think we want is COM 3. Now I'm going to the Firmware Depot website. And if you're looking at the artifact, this is where you will this is where you will flash your firmware onto the device. Why did the music stop? Alright, this time let's connect to COM 3. COM 1 was not very successful. Oh, wow. All right, let's go to logs. Did we lose Bluetooth? This stopped down here. We may have lost Bluetooth because the serial connection reset the ESP32. So that's probably normal. Let's get in here and do a list. Yes, look at that. All right, so it's telling us that the current volume is full wide open. DSP is enabled, and then it's showing us the parameters for our Parametric filters. Good deal. Okay, so let's get it rolling again. So what I'm going to do is on my phone, I'm going to connect to it again from Bluetooth. And start the song playing again. Cool. Now the user interface will show you when you press a button. So if I press the left button, showing us decreasing the volume, increasing the volume back up, and then that's showing me that I turned all the filters off. You can hear the difference. Alright, so let's change a filter. Let's say we want to make let's say we don't like the mid-range. The mid-range is a little too much. We want to drop it out some more. Maybe change the frequency of it too. So right here it's showing you the index of your filter. So the low shelf is 0. The peaking filter can be moved anywhere in the frequency range, right? So, right, that's I call it the mid-range filter, but it's not. You can put it anywhere you want to, and you can make the Q really narrow. I think a 0.2Q is pretty wide, but it's only dropping 2 dB at that frequency. So let's see what we can do. So let's see, filter parameters. Let's say this, set freak. So set is set, index, and then parameter, and then value. Okay. So let's set 1, gain. Let's crank it way down so that we can hear it. So I'm going to say -8. Let's wait for the song to go back around. Play, baby. Oh no. No. Want this royalty-free one. No. On that. Okay. Alright, I'm going to drop the gain of that middle. Hit enter. Oh, wait. Let me do a list so that I can see if okay, so it worked. It went to -8, but DSP is disabled right now. Now I could just mash this button on the case. Let me just do that. All right. So now you can definitely hear how we basically wiped out the mid-range. Set 1. Gain 0. Cool. So I think that pretty much is the idea I was trying to get across here. Here you can hear what it does, see how to control it. You can use the website to control it. See that you might have to install that driver first time you hook it up. Let's see what the buttons do. Now that'll drive headphones. They don't have a lot of power, but it'll drive headphones, and you can hear all this in headphones, or you could maybe hook up your laptop. Another thing is you can run PuTTY. PuTTY is a terminal emulator you can download. Yeah. All right. This 3Tooth. The website is called firmwaredepot.com. This thing is handy for if you have an older car that does not have Bluetooth. It won't give you the phone, right? But if your audio system in your car has aux input, you can add Bluetooth to your audio system in your car with this. You can add Bluetooth to a vintage audio amp that doesn't have, any sort of a Bluetooth receiver inside of it. So, it has its uses, and you can tune it by connecting it to a serial port. So, thanks for listening, and browse the website. Not much there yet, but it's going to grow. We've got the button interface, right? So, I wasn't talking to you, Alexa. Just keep doing what you were
Here's
doing.
the milk song by Lanky Box.
No. Alexa, go back to the previous song,
Here's a
please.
mix for you on Amazon.
No. Play that one.